The void within you can only be filled when you stay in the frequency of the positive polarity. The void within you cannot be filled by the having of conditions, cannot be filled by the possessing of conditions, cannot be filled by the having of material things. What is this void that I am referring to? When you are not in the frequency of the positive polarity, you will experience a void. A void is similar to a bottomless hole, similar to a feeling of incompleteness, similar to a feeling of neediness. Yes, material things are required for your physical survival. However, in order to fill the void within you, the possession of material things is not the solution. When your car has no petrol, refilling your car with water will not be effective. Just as water cannot be a substitute for petrol when you are trying to fill your car, material things, physical things cannot be a substitute to fill the voids that you experience within you when you are not in the frequency of the positive polarity. The void within you can only be filled by you staying in the frequency of the positive polarity. All other actions to fulfill the void within you will be futile and useless. When you feel needy, instinctively, you will try to manipulate conditions in order to satisfy the neediness that you are experiencing. Manipulating conditions is not your best option, it is not an effective option. Let's say a person is needy and he would like the company of another person. He will then try to manipulate conditions by looking at his contact list on his mobile phone and then calling someone on his contact list to arrange a meeting so that he can find some company. Unfortunately, all the people on his contact list are busy and are not available to meet him, leaving him disappointed and in a state of powerlessness. Calling people on his contact list is a mistake and is not the correct option to take to solve his problem of needing the company of another person. He is needy because he is not in the frequency of the positive polarity. Once he has readjusted his frequency from the negative to the positive, once he is able to be in the frequency of the positive polarity, he will no longer feel needy in general, be it for the company of another person or some other non-survival need. His neediness is not caused by the absence of another person that can keep him company. His neediness is caused by him not being in the frequency of the positive polarity. Once he is in the frequency of the positive polarity, he will feel whole and complete, without the need to ask another person to meet him to keep him company. Please do not misunderstand that meeting another person for some company is wrong. By all means, please meet another person if you want to, but do not meet another person in order to fill a void that you have. Fill the void first by adjusting your frequency to the frequency of the positive polarity, feel whole first by adjusting your frequency, then proceed to arrange to meet another person. Otherwise, the other person becomes your crutch, resulting in you becoming a cripple if the other person is not available. Do not do anything, do not take any action, to fill a void. Fill the void first by adjusting your frequency, and then proceed to do the activity if you still have the need. For example, you are unhappy and you try to fill the void within you by drinking alcohol. Stop. Readjust your frequency to the frequency of the positive polarity. Fill your whole being. Fill any void within you with the life force energy that will flow to you as a result of being in the positive polarity. Feel your wholeness. Once you feel whole, once you feel good, you will no longer need any spirits, any alcohol, to lift your spirits. You do not have to drown your sorrows by drinking alcohol. You have sorrows because you are not in the frequency of the positive polarity. By adjusting your frequency, by tuning to the frequency of the positive polarity, by staying in the frequency of the positive polarity, you will lift your spirits without the use of any alcoholic drinks. The void within you can only be satisfied by being in the frequency of the positive polarity. All other activities to fill the void within you will be ineffective until you have adjusted your frequency to the frequency of the positive polarity and fill the void within you with life force energy. Voids can only be filled by life force energy. Voids are cries for life force energy that can only flow to you when you are in the frequency of the positive polarity. When you are not in the frequency of the positive polarity, a void within you will be present. This void will make you feel incomplete and needy. When you are not in the frequency of the positive polarity, your circuit is open and there is leakage of electromagnetic energy which to you feels like a void or some kind of feeling of neediness. Electromagnetic energy can only flow along their loop when your circuit is closed. Whenever you feel a void within you, it only means one thing: it means that you are not in the frequency of the positive polarity. No activity can fill this void. The only thing that can fill this void is the frequency of the positive polarity. If someone is overeating even though he is already full, this person is trying to fill a void within him by overeating even though he is already full. Overeating food will not fill this void within him. Only by staying in the frequency of the positive polarity will he be able to fill the void within him. Someone who has a need to smoke is trying to fill the void within him by smoking. He is using chemicals inhaled through smoking to fill this void within him. Smoking is not the best option as he can get the happiness hormones naturally without any side effects by staying in the frequency of the positive polarity. A drug addict is also trying to fill the void within him by consuming drugs or by inhaling drugs or by injecting drugs into his veins. He is also using chemicals from addictive drugs to fill the void within him. Taking drugs is not the best option as he can feel high, as he can get the happiness hormones naturally without any side effects by staying in the frequency of the positive polarity. Society often describes two persons who love one another as two incomplete persons, describing his or her partner as my other half. This description gives rise to the incorrect understanding that this is a relationship of two needy individuals who are incomplete and only becomes complete and whole by having a relationship with his or her partner. Two needy individuals with void within themselves who are trying to fill the void within themselves by depending on his or her partner to make them whole and complete, giving his or her partner the responsibility to make him or her complete. This model of relationship depicts a person as someone who has no ability to fill the void within him by himself. He is at the mercy of forces, at the mercy of another person, whom he has no control over. The mathematics behind this relationship is as follows: 1/2 plus another half equals one complete whole. This model is not viable, as your wholeness is dependent on another person and not yourself. This type of relationship will not last as both parties are trying to ask the other person to fill the void within them, a void that only they themselves can fill by staying in the frequency of the positive polarity, a void that only they can fill due to the simple reason that no one can think for you, no one can vibrate for you. The correct model for a lasting and empowering relationship is that of two complete individuals who come together not because they want the other person to make them whole, rather, they are already whole and they come together to give love because they have plenty of love to give and they know how to generate love and become the exporter of love rather than being needy and becoming the importer of love because they do not know how to be the generator of love. When people do not know how to generate their own love, they try to get it from others, resulting in power struggles for love and affection. People who are insecure and want others to love them, do so because they do not know how to generate their own vibrations of love. When people know how to generate their own vibrations of love, they are not bothered if others are not loving towards them. If you are the producers and generators of love, if you have an oversupply of love and others refuse to export love to you, will you be affected if they decide to stop exporting love to you? The answer is obvious. All you need to fill this void within you is not something external to you. All you need to fill this void within you is not the presence of wanted conditions or the absence of unwanted conditions. All you need to fill this void within you is to stay in the frequency of the positive polarity. All you need to thrive mentally, emotionally, physically, socially, financially is to stay in the frequency of the positive polarity. When you are in the frequency of the positive polarity, there is no void within you. When you are in the frequency of the positive polarity, you have so much love to the point that love is overflowing continuously from you. Self-Mastery International. The 28th of April 2020 09:00 hours.